Welcome in to the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you know whenever we are live. I'm Lindsay, and I'm here with Espo. Espo, are you hanging in there? Because I feel like we're all dropping like flies over here.
I have a daughter that is sick with the flu and strep. I didn't know you could get both at the same time, but she's an overachiever, and it includes being sick. So, yeah, we're good. I'm good on this side. I don't know
I mean,
about the rest
you're
of the house.
surviving. I feel like your daughter may have somehow passed that along to me because I am like 2.5 seconds away from just knocking over. But
Look,
we're gonna try and power through this one as best as we can.
I like
Thankfully, go ahead.
like most things, I'm just going to blame it on the intern Benjamin. We're just going to
There you
going
go.
to blame Ben, and that's the way it's going to go.
Thankfully, it should be an easy night because the Phoenix Suns are playing the Los Angeles Lakers. But who'd have thought, right?
Hey now.
Hey-oh. Yeah, the Suns are taking on the Lakers. In all seriousness, it'll be a good game, but it should, in theory, be a W for the Phoenix Suns. We know the Lakers haven't exactly had the most successful season, and of course, they're dealing with a whole bunch of different injuries. Yeah, so how are you feeling about tonight's game?
Well, I feel pretty good, and I always hate when I feel pretty good because that makes me nervous. So I guess I don't know how I feel is what I'm saying. Really, that's the way I'm looking at it. Lakers have not played well, I mean, this season at all, but they've struggled as of late, and it should be a pretty easy win for the Suns, but there's one man that could stand in the way of that, and it's a man that has stood in the way of a lot of teams over the last 18 years. It's LeBron James,
Yeah.
and the man has been playing out of his mind. He may be 38, but he has two 50-point games in the last month, 50-plus point games. It always concerns me when LeBron's on the court. Now you got Mikal Bridges. Hopefully he can be LeBron stopper tonight. And you look at the rest of the starting lineup, even with LeBron, I think they average about 68 points from their starting lineup. It's not a
Mhm.
great potent starting lineup that we're looking at. I mean, really what it comes down to is the Lakers have put together their team as if they were playing fantasy basketball rather than playing for actual basketball, putting a real team together, building a locker room of guys that play for each other and a roster that's deep. That's what the Suns have done. The Lakers went the other way. The Lakers are paying the price, but LeBron's always a difference maker, as we know.
Yeah, absolutely. You can never count out a team when LeBron is on that roster. I mean, it's just impressive. Like, I know LeBron is also a very polarizing player, and some people love him and some people absolutely hate him. But you have to give credit where credit is due. And that guy has been able to play phenomenal basketball for a very, very long time. And especially at his age, to be continuing to do the things that he's doing, like, kudos to him. I do think I enjoy LeBron to an extent. There are times, of course, when he is playing against my team where I'm just like, nah, not tonight. Okay, just not tonight. But I get it.
I could do without LeBron in general, but I will tip my hat to how he's playing at his age. But look, LeBron right now is a good stats on a bad team player. He's what Devin Booker used to be accused of right now. He's getting a lot of hollow stats in games where his team isn't playing very well.
Hmm.
And great, go out there and drop 50 tonight. If the Suns beat you by 20 when you drop 50, it don't mean crap. I mean, look, that's the knock that Devin took for scoring 70 in a loss. Hey,
That's
great.
true.
Your team stinks. LeBron, congratulations. You were on the worst team you've been on since your rookie year. You're fighting to be in that play-in, and you're looking at a Suns team that's doing what you and your super teams have done in the past, dominating the league because the Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA. Suck it, LeBron. And hopefully it holds out tonight as well.
Yes, hopefully. All right, let's take a look at tonight's injury report to give you guys an update on what we're going to be seeing out there on the floor. For the Lakers, they're going to be, of course, without Anthony Davis, Kendrick Nunn, and then Taylor Horton Tucker is questionable last time I saw. And then on the Sun side, still without Chris Paul, still without Cam Johnson. So LeBron will be playing tonight. He was questionable coming into tonight's game, but Frank Vogel did announce during his pregame presser LeBron will be playing tonight. And then I think maybe not tomorrow because they are on the start of a back-to-back here in Phoenix tonight.
Yeah, you got to wonder if he's really hurt, if that was a load management, and he put questionable because you're trying to decide on which
Which
game
game?
not to
Right.
play. If he's hurt, that changes things even more in this game because you won't see LeBron at full strength, and we know as we saw last year when LeBron's not at full strength, you can definitely take advantage of this LA team regardless of what teammates are on the floor. So it'll be interesting to watch in that first quarter how he's actually performing. But I'm really excited to watch that defensive matchup between Mikhail and LeBron and Jay Crowder and LeBron that we know we're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
see in this game. And you know Jay loves to get in the head of the Lakers. I mean, we saw that salsa dance last year. We saw him jaw at LeBron. This should be fun. Whenever you get Lakers Suns, regardless of how bad either team is, there's that bit of each team wants to stick it to the other side, and we'll see that again tonight.
Totally, but I mean, you kind of said regardless of how bad each team is, but I will say it's a lot more fun when you're on the winning side of things.
Oh,
Like, I do enjoy a good LA Phoenix rivalry, but it is a lot more entertaining and a lot more enjoyable when our team looks like they do now and the Lakers look like they do right now. So,
well, of course. I mean, anytime you can kick another team's ass that's your rival, you enjoy it more. I mean, I'm not
totally.
saying, oh, I enjoy Suns versus Lakers even in a loss, but usually we at least get entertaining moments where players are
For
jawing
sure.
at each other. Hello in the chat says Jay is a fun troll. Hell yes, he is.
That's a
I
good way to
love his.
describe it.
There's nothing. I don't care if he's shooting poorly and he goes out there and he starts yapping at an opposing team's bench. I love the attitude that Jay Crowder brings, especially against the Lakers. And I want a front row seat for that sometime because I want to see that in person and watch him troll him.
Absolutely. Okay, so everyone in the chat is already bringing this up, so I feel like we should just get right into it and
Let's get
address
into it.
it. So Dave McMenamin of ESPN tweeted out that Anthony Davis um, asked if his groin injury is the main reason the Lakers did not beat the Suns in the playoffs last year. To which Anthony Davis said it was ... We know that. They know that ... They got away with one. I mean, I have
What?
issues with this, and I know you have major issues with this, so I'll let you start.
What in the actual hell? Mr. Glass out here chirping because his ass can't get on the court. I love this because Anthony Davis has just given himself the ultimate out that he can use continually because the man is always injured. So every time he's injured, it's just, well, the other team knows if I was out there, I'd beat him. No, not at all. That was not what happened out there. Now, you might be able to argue that if LeBron had been at full strength, it may have been a different series, and I can buy that. But AD, shut your damn mouth, man. You look like a fool out there in that series, and the fact that you can't get on the court this year to help your abysmal team and try to figure things out is laughable already. I don't expect you to be at full strength in this year's playoffs because you can't figure out how to get healthy. And apparently, that Lakers training staff can't do crap for guys that have continual injuries. So take that shit somewhere else, AD. You're like an old man or an often injured man yelling at clouds right now. I don't give a shit what you have to say. The Suns beat you. They beat Denver. They beat the Clippers, and they almost beat the Bucks. The only ones that can say boo to the Suns team about their playoff run last year is the Bucks. So shut your mouth until you can actually beat this team. Or how about you shut your mouth till you can actually be on the court against this team?
I mean, all fair points. I mean, Mike B said, AD, all right, hot shot. Health is a part of the game. Stay healthy. Chris Paul was hurt as well. I mean, that's a big thing that I feel like so many people didn't talk about because obviously CP kept it pretty low key. Nobody really understood how he was feeling at that time. And even though now we know, people still don't talk about it a whole lot. So, Espo, should we show what Monty had to say when he was also asked this question?
Let me say one more thing here,
Okay.
right? the Phoenix Suns get no respect, and this is another example of it. A player who lost to them can't even man up and admit that he got beat by a better team. He's got to hide behind an excuse, and that's what this Lakers team and Lakers fans have always been about. If it doesn't go their way, there's always some grandiose excuse. Well, you can stick those excuses where the sun don't shine, because the Suns are the best team in the NBA, and you're fighting for a 9th seed right now. We can listen to
Mhm.
Monty. I'm sure Monty's much kinder in his response.
Well, let's see.
I don't know. I don't want to say anything disrespectful about that. He was hurt. The thing about that series is Chris was hurt, for most of the series, and all anybody talked about was Anthony being hurt. That was, you can go back and forth with that. I'm just glad we won. As I've said before, we have a great deal of respect for the Lakers. I mean, how many championships and all the stuff they have, like that's when you can win against them, you feel good about it.
So, of course, Monty always taking the high road, but he did get a really subtle jab in there. Like, if you paid close attention to the way that he said, I don't want to be disrespectful here, and then kind of skirted around the question, that's because Monty knows damn well, just like the rest of us know, that that's not right. It's not true. The Phoenix Suns still would have beaten the Lakers even if Anthony Davis wasn't injured. Would it have been maybe a little bit more of a competitive series? Sure, I'll give you that. Like you said, if LeBron was at full strength and AD was at full strength, it probably could have been an all-out brawl. But here's the thing. You cannot come back after the end of the season and talk about how, oh, well, if and only if this thing didn't happen, we would have won. Like, that's part of the game too, is like the comment said, it's part of the game. If you can't stay healthy, that's a knock on you and your team. That's part of playing the game the right way, is maintaining your health. And not to mention, again, Chris Paul was not healthy during that series, yet he was able to find a way to play through it. He was able to still contribute to his team. I'm not saying that Anthony Davis should have done that, or at least tried, but I'm saying it's like apples and oranges here. You can't compare.
But look, Anthony Davis could have taken the high road like Monty did, and he
He could
chose
have.
violence.
Yeah.
So guess what he gets in return? Violence, all right? Monty didn't need to say anything because his hat was saying everything. He was saying, hey, street clothes, well done, better than well said.
Exactly.
And the Suns continue to prove that night in, night out, regardless of who is on the court.
Mm-hmm. And then Frank Vogel was also asked about this pregame. Whoever started this question, just like, it snowballed into a full-blown avalanche here.
Damn you, Gerald.
Was it Gerald?
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think it was Gerald. But Frank Vogel basically just said, like, we'll never know. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get an answer to that. I think he was also trying to kind of skirt around the question as well, not to be disrespectful to the Suns, and also at the same time probably trying not to be disrespectful to his own players. But I bet you Frank Vogel inside is probably kicking himself a little bit, like, AD, really? Like, you're in street clothes right now. Why are you creating drama for us?
Yeah. Thanks for pissing off the guys we're about to play. Like, why give them bulletin board material minutes before you're going out on the court? It makes absolutely no sense, but it also shows you the mentality of this Lakers team. They're like trust fund babies. They think everything's owed to them. Everything's not owed to you just because you put on purple and gold. Everything's not owed to you because you live in LA. Everything's not owed to you because you were born with the God-given talent that you were. You have to make the most of it, and you didn't. And that's on you, not on the Suns.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. I mean, I think we're all in agreement here. He was way out of line in saying what he said, and he is absolutely wrong. I mean, that's just the cold, hard truth. You were wrong.
I love Lindsay's just like, okay, enough yelling, Greg. Let's get back.
No, you can yell all you want.
Calm down. All right, calm down.
You can yell all you want, Espo. I'm all for it. I don't know what else to say. It's just as simple as that. Like, you're wrong and you lost. So if anything, it's better to be, if I were in that situation, I'd be like, it's in the past. I don't want to talk about it. Why would you want to add fuel to the fire around a conversation where you were on the losing side? Like, I guess maybe it's a way to make excuses, but everyone knows when you make excuses in sports, it looks even worse on you.
Well, and how about the fact that you may face them again in a month in the playoffs in the first round, and you just said, I mean, you just gave Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal
Literally
Bridges,
every
Cam
single
Johnson.
Jay Crowder is going to take that one real
Yeah,
personally. I guarantee you that.
yeah, I mean, you just gave them enough fuel not only for tonight's game, but for a series if you play them. Not as if they needed more motivation to kick your ass in the first round, but now you've given them even more. It's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I also find it really funny that who was it like a week ago that said the Lakers are somewhat like I'm all in on the Lakers. They're going to get a first round series and win one.
It
Who
was
said
Kenny
that?
Smith on Inside the NBA, but I don't think he thought it all the way through. It was one of those half comments, and I don't think he was thinking about who they'd face.
Yeah.
I think he was just trying to say, I see them getting through the play-in and playing well, forgetting
Okay.
that likely they're going to be the ace seed and face the Suns.
Okay, that's fair. I guess I'll give him that, but still wrong.
Yeah,
Anyway,
this is going to be one of those, and I took it personally kind of games.
totally. I hope so. I mean, I would love for a couple of these guys out here on the court tonight to have an I took it personally game and just completely demolish the Lakers. Like that would be a great way to cleanse the palate from the Raptors game the other night, a great way to just start our week. I mean, it's Sunday evening. How nice would it be with a complete whooping of the Lakers to start the week
Oh,
off with?
I would love that. I would love that. That would definitely put this next week into a nicer light.
It would, absolutely would. All right, Espo. Anything else about this Suns Lakers matchup that you want to touch on?
No, look, again, this should be another game that Deandre Ayton offensively is heavily involved in. This is the kind of game that Devin Booker gets up for, usually shoots out of his mind. In Mikal, this is where he proves that, you know what, the defensive player of the year or the defensive first, all the NBA defensive first team discussions, they mean something because LeBron's been on a tear. This is the kind of game where you see that kind of defense you saw in Miami. Hopefully, you see the offense that's been there all year, and you come through and you click on all cylinders, and you get out of there with a big win. That's a statement piece that answers everything. Puts an answer to what AD said and removes doubt from anybody's mind.
You know, I'm surprised that I hadn't brought up DA earlier in this conversation, but maybe it's just because we were so focused on AD. But I think tonight is a big DeAndre night. Like it kind of has to be, especially considering that the Lakers are without Anthony Davis. They've been playing a little bit of that small ball lineup. Like this is an opportunity for DeAndre Ayton to come out and just own that paint and just bully the hell out of people. And I would love for DA to have another really big game like that.
Look, this is a 15 to 20 rebound game from DA. When he has those off nights rebounding, usually he bounces back with a bigger game. He's playing an undersized Lakers team. I full well expect him and Campaign to come out as if they have something to prove because Campaign loves playing against these Lakers. He's in the starting lineup. He's been playing pretty well. He had a little bit of an off night shooting the other night, but I feel like he comes through. This should just be a everybody clicks tonight. I feel I got a good feeling about it. Obviously, bench a concern with Cam out, but a DA Campaign, the starting lineup should be able to be enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Bailey in the comments asked if Cam Johnson is playing tonight. They just got here. No, Cam Johnson is still out. Hopefully, we'll get him back soon. But as Monty mentioned on Friday, it's just kind of one of those things where he's got a lot of like blood still pulling in that area, and they're just waiting for it to kind of feel better, and then they'll let him return
Yeah.
to game action. But
He
it's kind of
described
a
it like
day-to-day
having a
thing.
fit in that thigh area, and then it's just about that easing up and not being as tense. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's soon.
All right, so that's kind of it that we have for you as far as Lakers coverage go. One thing that I did want to mention is we want to welcome, still not here with the team yet, but the Suns did sign Ife Lundberg, a guard out of Denmark. the other day, which is pretty cool. I'm excited to get to know him and see kind of everything that he brings to the table. Espo, do you know anything about this young gentleman, Ife?
Well, whenever I hear his last name, I think, yeah, I'm gonna need you to work on Sunday, a little office space, Lundberg. But no, what I've heard is one of the best guys playing in the Russian league, which many believe is the second best league in the world. Obviously, with what's going on in the world, he decided to step away from that, leave that team with his family, and he got this opportunity with the Suns. It is a two-way deal, so right now he wouldn't be available for the playoffs. And it sounds like it may take a week or two for his visa situation to get sorted out. So we won't see him tonight. I don't know when we will see him. Maybe next week, later this week. But he's supposedly a great three-point shooter. I believe he's shooting a little over 37% from deep over in the Russian league, and is supposedly pretty good on defense. A lot of people had talked about him last offseason as a potential kind of low-level free agent signing that could have been pretty good. I think he's 6'4" and has a 6'9" wingspan. So he's another long guy, plays both point and shooting guard. If you want to learn more, become a member at gophnx.com and go check out Gerald's article. He breaks him down very well. He talked to some people that know FA's game pretty well. So I definitely recommend that piece as a good primer to understand what you're getting. I think he's a guy that if he comes in and shows flashes, Elfrid Payton may be in trouble and he may wind up getting cut, and Ife could get that final roster spot to be playoff eligible as a kind of break glass in case of emergency kind of option.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, go phnx.com. Gerald wrote a really great article about him. But to your point of when he might be here, you're correct. Gerald got an update from the team today, and the Suns say that he probably won't be able to join the team for a couple of weeks as he goes through the process of getting a visa. But this is pretty standard visa application process, nothing out of the ordinary. It just kind of takes a little bit of time.
And Patrick in the chat wants to know, what does it mean by a two-way and can't play in the playoffs? Let me explain. So the Suns have a 15-man roster and then two-way contract spots, which really the two-way means you can spend time between the G League and the NBA, but it's not a full roster spot. It's kind of what it comes down to. And to be eligible to play in the playoffs, you have to be on that 15-man actual roster, which is, Ish Wainwright is also a two-way player. So Elfrid Payton is kind of the odd man out who hasn't been getting playing time. So if either Ish or Ife are to be on the playoff roster, you'd have to make a move where you released Elfrid Payton or somebody on the roster to open up a spot and then convert them into a full contract. So
Right. So it's the unfortunate part is that somebody on the team has to get let go in order to convert those two-way spots, but also it kind of just is the way it is. It allows you a little bit of flexibility to test out some guys during the regular season, and maybe mess around or tweak kind of the gentleman at the end of the bench there. So
all right. Should we check out what DraftKings has to say about tonight's game?
yes, absolutely. I completely forgot about that. Thank you for bringing it up.
They have the Suns as an 8-point favorite. I like this. I actually feel as if this could be a larger margin. But if you're looking for a bet to make tonight, I feel the taking the Suns and the 8 points, laying the 8 points, is a good route to go this evening.
I mean, I feel like I was pretty close then with DraftKings because I have Suns by 7 personally tonight. What did you pick, Espo? Let's look at what everyone
If I see
thought.
the graphic, I remember I have the Suns by 14 tonight, right? And then Gerald has the Suns by 8, and Saul Bookman has the Suns by 20. And there's no funny number because everybody got their picks in on time.
Yeah. So Saul Bookman, though, he's got a lot of faith in this team. I think I don't blame him. I feel like you probably could have put like you and Saul both 14 and 20, anywhere in between the two of those. It's very achievable. It's very doable. Especially now. I said in that pick before this AD drama kind of came out on the internet. And now that that's happened, I feel like the guys are going to be a little bit more spicy, a little more pissed off. So maybe you and Saul are right.
You know, what could happen here though is it could be one of those games where the Suns have a big lead and they turn to that second, third unit
Right,
in that fourth
exactly.
quarter and it shrinks down into that 7-8 range. I could see that happen. I just feel pretty confident in this Suns team this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you have it. If you guys want to place some bets on the Suns, be sure to use the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And if you haven't signed up, you can use our promo code PHNX. It'll get you some cool things over there. We'll tell you more about it in tonight's show. After the final buzzer, we'll be right back here to recap everything. We'll hopefully get some updates from Gerald from the Footprint Center. I know we're cutting things a little bit short, but Espo, I'm tapped out of talking unless you have something else to add right now. I need to
I
go
think
blow
I
my
screamed
nose.
enough.
Yeah, I hope you guys please forgive me throughout this and tonight. I got the sniffles, I got all the things, but I'll try and mute myself if I have to sneeze or cough so you don't have to hear that, I promise. All right. Well, enjoy the game. You can always come hang out with us on Twitter at PHNX_Suns. And if you are a GoPHNX.com member, you can hang out with us in the Discord. Okay, bye.
Bye.